Hey folks, this is Carl over at Sterling Health and Fitness. Thanks for tuning in. So through our website and our video series, it's our goal to bring you information that will help you to live a healthier lifestyle. So we go about this in a couple of different ways. A lot of these videos are educational and some are motivational, and a lot of them are both. And for some of us, these videos serve as a way to learn more and progress with where we're at in our exercise routine or in our dietary habits and our dietary lifestyle, so we can make improvements in those areas. And for other people, these videos work towards just getting you started and establishing consistency, regularity in an exercise routine. So today I'm really excited to have a special guest with me. We met a couple of years ago when I was a student in his class. My guest today is a friend of mine, somebody who's taught me a lot and inspires me greatly, Jerry Evensky. Thank you.
Good to be here.
Jerry's a professor at Syracuse University. And back a couple of years ago, I got to know him in the class a little bit. I was a student in one of his classes. And then we got to know each other over coffee. Then he learned that I'm a personal trainer and was thinking of doing some personal training, which we started doing almost 14 months ago. Mm-hmm. But there's another element to this story, and there's a reason I specifically wanted to have Jerry as my guest, because 5 years ago, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And where something like this would be so intimidating and just stop and derail certain people in their tracks, and they'd be off for a while, and it would be devastating. He took the bull by the horns, he took control over this. And I'm not going to talk about this too much, because when you talk about this is where the real great story and inspiration comes in. And so I'd love to have you tell us about what was it like when you first heard about the diagnosis. You got that initial word. And by the way, thank you again for being my guest. It's a real honor to sit down with you and bring your message and your story to the viewers. What was your initial reaction?
Well, I knew I had an issue early on, because well before I went to the doctor, I had a tremor, and I kept trying to deny that it was anything significant. And I remember one day I went to one of my kids' soccer games, and one of my fellow parents said, "What's up with your hand?" And I was like, "Don't point that out to me. I don't want to hear about it." Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I decided I should have it checked out, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor basically was walking me down the hall and did the handwriting thing and all the diagnostics, and said, "You got Parkinson's." And I was like, okay, what's this mean about life? Where do I go from here? So it took me, at first I didn't really process what that meant. I'm not one to go do research on something. It's ironic, because I'm a researcher, unless I think the research is going to do something fruitful for me. So the first thing I did was looked up what kind of things can help. Mm-hmm. Not where it's going to go, because where it's going to go is not necessarily pretty. But I'm not worried about where it's going to go. I'm worried about what I can do about it.
Okay.
As I don't want it to be a prison. I don't want it to be a sentence. I want it to be something I live with and deal with in a constructive way. So I went online, and one of the things it suggested was, first of all, there's medications, which I do take, and there's proactive kind of exercises. So that's when I got interested. Before I met you, I was interested in the notion of exercising, and I swim, as you know.
Right, and now I'm interjecting here, because you were swimming for quite a long time.
Oh,
about
years
20
and
years or
years.
so
Yeah.
before that. Right.
Basically, just to be generally healthy. I'm not a jock by any stretch of the imagination, but to be generally healthy. And but I knew that there were things about swimming that didn't satisfy the needs of somebody with Parkinson's, like building up body strength and balance.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I talked to my doctor about this, and he was a very good doctor, but not a very good physical trainer kind of thinker. Mm-hmm. It's the mentality of physical training that I've gotten to appreciate. How you think about the body as a sort of a holistic system, and about balance and strength. And my doctor thinks about bodies in more specific ways. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate what he does for me, but I realized I needed something more than that if I was going to be proactive about this.
Right.
So then, ironically, you were in my class, and we went out for coffee, and we were talking about what you did, and I said, "Oh my God, it's like the Lord is see my needs and brought them.
Mm-hmm.
So we started talking about doing this together, and we ended up doing it together, and it's been quite a fruitful process, I think. I really feel, as I said to you before, I don't know the counterfactual. I don't know what it'd be like if we didn't do this.
Right.
But I feel stronger. I feel like I'm more capable of maintaining, among other things, my physical balance with strength. And I feel more capable of balancing because we work on balance issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most of all, I just feel empowered, even if it's not really helping. Mentally, it helps.
Right, right.
Psychologically, it helps to feel like I'm taking this on. I mean, Parkinson's is going to happen and unfold however it will, but I don't have to let it happen to me. I can make things, I can try and address it in a constructive way. And I think that's what I need to do, to feel good about myself.
Right, right. Well, I love that mental approach you've taken. I mean, there's emotions in that too, but you're just taking this, and of course, like you said, that very first thing you did is you looked up what things can help in Parkinson's rather than what can go wrong.
Right.
I don't know if there's anyone else out there who would do that, you know, but I think that's a great way to approach it because you're looking at taking control right off the bat.
I think that one can either take life and consider it a lemon or make lemonade out of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever challenges come along, I like to try and address them and make them something that makes me feel good about addressing them. I mean, it may not help at all, but it helps up here.
Sure. Well, I can speak as your trainer. I can say that in the past 14 months, I've seen some really great improvement. Your balance has gotten a lot better. Of course, I'm a NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. That's the model that I use.
Master trainer.
Thank you. I'm proud to be a master trainer.
You should be.
I really am. That was a great experience for me where actually when I went through the master trainer program, I really, really learned the model of training that NASM teaches and what they use from, you know. And we spent a lot of time in phase 1, stability endurance, and a fair amount of time in phase 2, strength endurance. And I have to tell you that yesterday when we were working out, and this happens often, his balance was better than mine. We're doing transverse plane, single leg, throw the ball, catch the ball, back and forth.
Pitch and catch.
Yeah, and I'm touching down, and he is seldom touching down, even on your right leg, which is the more challenging side for you.
So, for sure.
I find that's one of the things that inspires me. We did a lot of balance in a row yesterday,
right.
And that was the last thing, yet you pretty much nailed it, you know. And I think that that's just a testament to, you know, there's science behind this too, which we can go into in just a minute. But the whole idea that you've been working on this from day one when we started working together, and look at the progress so far.
Well, some of the things I really like about our relationship as a trainer-client is I'm really interested in how things work and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and you're very good about explaining that, so I can own this process. And if I own it, I feel like I'm not doing this because you're telling me to. I'm doing it because I want to, and I'm getting benefits from it. As I said, I don't know the counterfactual. Maybe it's not making any difference, but it makes a huge difference in my head and heart to think that I'm taking this on in the most constructive way possible. Because otherwise I'd be just letting it happen to me, and that would be a very depressing way to live.
Yeah, interesting. That actually brings up another question I'd like to ask. So the question I have is, what role has exercise played in your daily functioning, let's say? In other words, do you feel stronger? Do you feel that you move better balance? How do you feel?
I feel more empowered to deal with the imbalances I have. I mean, I lose my balance, I would say fairly regularly, but I feel strong enough to catch myself and agile enough, if you will, not that I'm an agile person, to right myself. So as I said, I don't know the counterfactual, but I feel more confident because I feel like I'm doing something and it seems to help. And the positive feedback is I don't fall down. which I could easily be doing if I hadn't been doing this.
Right, right. And I think that's an
Which
important...
also means that I'm less likely to have to go into progressively more serious meds, which I really want to hold off as long as possible.
Right.
So in some sense, if it's doing what I think it is, whatever's doing what is helping me maintain my balance, is going to keep me on a slower path to more serious meds, which I really don't want to do.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to do it eventually,
that.
but I want to put it off as long as possible.
Well, let's talk about science for a minute. And I can't get into detail because I'm not a researcher, I'm not a doctor. However, my son is in medical school, and he works for a neurologist. And Dr. Wong, Shumei Wong, is very well known in the area of dealing with, first of all, neurology and dealing with Parkinson's. And one thing we know is that when we're taking control like this and you're going through exercising like this, and for some people it could be dance, it could be a lot of different things, but these movement patterns are actually helping to retrain the brain. It's a different part of the brain, but it is, in other words, the part of the brain that is normally responsible for certain activities is likely diminished in its capability to exercise control.
Right.
However, now we're taking this and we're working backwards. By doing repetitive movements, the brain is automatically getting retrained, which I think is one of the coolest things that I've learned about, and I only know about this much about it, but I know that when I see you progressing like this over the past 14 months, that's proof right there that we can do this, we can take control, we can preserve quality of life, improve our movement, and like you say, when you can catch yourself and not fall down, you're preventing injuries too.
For sure.
That could be debilitating right there. If you fall the wrong way, you could be messed up for a while.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, neither one of us knows about this alternative pathway development as a scientist, but I believe it seems plausible. And the more I believe in this stuff, the more I feel good about myself and the more I feel like I'm making progress. And I think just that positive attitude of I believe in this, I believe in myself, and I'm doing something about it. If nothing else, it makes life more pleasant in the course of the progress of this disease. And if I'm going to live out these years with the disease, I'd like to feel good about myself while I'm doing it.
Well, I'll tell you, I am proud of, first of all, I'm proud to know you.
That makes it easy.
He's become a good friend, so I appreciate your friendship.
So.
And every time we work together, I look forward to our sessions.
Actually, he calls it work together. I think of it as torture.
That's true, he does. We banter about this, and it's a lot of fun. We have fun in our sessions. But
he's on loan from the Spanish Inquisition.
At the same time, I'm watching this man doing things. I'm watching him improve in his stability, his balance, his movement, and strength. Let's talk about some of the numbers for a minute. Now, I don't have them right with me, but I know that when we did the body composition analysis in the beginning, you had good numbers to start with. Real healthy body fat, metabolic rate, metabolic age.
Those years of swimming.
Extremely good. But you have put on some muscle mass too, which is initially it was interesting what happened with the muscles. Actually went down a little bit. Now it's up again. In fact, you're strong too. You're cranking out these push-ups. You're cranking out all these different things that a lot of people.
Almost a jock.
A lot of people, and I say this with no disrespect to anybody out there, because we're all at a different level of conditioning. Okay, but what's inspiring? One of the many things that's inspiring to me about Jerry is he's cranking out things. He's not 20 years old. He has Parkinson's, and he's putting a lot of 20-year-olds to shame. If you were just to compare workout to workout. Now, we don't know that 20-year-old's history. We don't know if they had some issues or surgeries. So this is not a judgment. This is not to say he's better than somebody. But what I am here to say is that he's demonstrating that just do the work. You can take control. You can do these things if you put in the effort, and the improvements have been phenomenal.
And the psychic benefits are huge.
Yeah.
Just feeling like you're not letting it happen to you, but you're going to take it on and do your best to make it a good life in the process. I mean, the second trip's around this world, so you may as well make the first one a good one.
That is great. Well, I'd say I have one more question for you before we wind up. Do you have any advice? And I didn't tell him I was going to ask him this question, so I'm putting you right on the spot here. But do you have any advice that you want to give to people just in general, or any specific group of people, or both?
So when my kids leave the house each morning when they were little, I always, instead of saying have a good day, I'd tell them make it good. I'd say make it good, I love you. And I feel like it's my responsibility to do the same thing for my life, to make it good. And trainers are very helpful in this, particularly people who communicate very well. I really need to understand why I'm doing it so I understand what I'm doing and why it serves a useful purpose. I mean, that's just who I am. I like to understand stuff. But that, and the positive feedback I get is obvious. He's good at positive feedback. So if you're a trainer, help people understand, give them positive feedback. If you're thinking about getting involved with something like this, make it good for yourself. If this is the way to make it good, do it, because it's doing it for me. At least, as I said, my heart, my head, I feel very good about it. Whether my body's better, I don't know whether it would be different. But just feeling good about it is worth everything.
That's great. This is really always inspiring.
It's a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate how, well, you've taught me, too, because this goes both ways.
Sounds good.
And I tell my people, this is true. I was just doing a workshop with another trainer last night. We had a group of people. And this is the truth. I learn more from them, you, my clients, than they learn from me. Now, some of them don't believe that, but it's actually true.
As a teacher, I can relate to that.
Yes.
Truly, I can relate to that.
I learn more from my people than they learn from me. I'm honored to be a part of the journey. I'm honored. It makes me proud to say I have somebody who accomplished this, that. But I'm just the tour guide. They're putting in the work, and at the same time, I get to learn. So it's a double win, triple win for me. I get all the benefits out of this.
It's a win-win situation for sure.
It's awesome. Well, thank you again.
My pleasure, like I said.
All right, folks, and thank you for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. And be sure to go to sterlinghealthandfitness.com and check out our website. We have many other interviews there, all designed with the intention of bringing a message to you to help you to live a healthy lifestyle, both exercise, dietary, just be healthier. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Have a great day.